Hello, my name's Andrew Brooks. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video, we're going to be looking at a Beatles cassette that was withdrawn, but is a must for all you Beatles collectors out there. You won't find it in one of these 70s/80s Beatles cassette collections. In fact, you won't be able to find it in any Beatles cassette collections anywhere. I'm talking about a cassette that was released by EMI to promote a commercial product, and in fact it was the first of its kind, but it was done without the Beatles' knowledge. Back in 1986, a beer company, Heineken, joined forces with EMI to release an exclusive mail order cassette, and it was only available in Great Britain. And on the 1st of July in 1986, only the Beatles was advertised by Heineken. They publicised it, and if you posted off 4 of their ring pulls from their cans, back in the day when you removed the ring pull rather than had it just on the top of the can, if you posted off 4 of those and a cheque or a postal order for £2.99, you got one of these. So here we can see this is the front cover of it, and on the side we've got only the Beatles. On the back we've got EMI Parlophone with the track listing. The track listing is 12 tracks, in fact. I'll go through the tracks individually because there are some interesting ones on here. Here we can see the cassette. It's got EMI on it, and it's distributed by a company called Stiletto, as you can see there. It does have catalogue number of SMMC151, and the sleeve, I have to say, I think this is the naffest Beatles cassette cover I've ever seen. So moving on to the inside of the sleeve, there we have the track listing with some liner notes. I'll try and get it without the glare. We've got a nice set of photos there, and on the inside you've got the regular Beatles albums to show you what you should be collecting. Also inside of mine, I'm not sure if all of these came with it, but inside mine came with this sort of a Heineken card, and on the back it's got a place for you to write a name and address, and if you open it up on the inside you've got a place to say who it's from, and there's also some details there. And basically it's saying if you send off another 4 ring pulls with another £2.99, they will then send this to someone else. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why not just buy another 4 cans, drink them, and just get one sent to you? But anyway, and it shows this offer closes on the 30th of June 1987. However, it didn't get to that point, but we'll come on to that later. So it was publicised, as I say, 12 tracks, but with 2 of them being totally unique and previously unreleased. Now, it claimed to have a stereo version of This Boy and also a stereo version of Yes It Is, both of which, as I say, were claimed to be unreleased. While This Boy was in fact the common faked stereo version, Yes It Is in fact a true previously unreleased stereo version, hence why all collectors probably need to get one of these. Now, this version of Yes It Is was recorded on the 16th of February 1965 and then lay forgotten and undiscovered for, I guess, 21 years, and it wasn't even included in those 77 and 79 sort of collections, you know, the albums, and as I showed you earlier, the cassettes that came in that blue box. However, as I said, the true stereo version of Yes It Is does actually appear on this cassette, and it's got a couple of oddities in it as well, hence you can tell the difference between the stereo or the true stereo, fake stereo, and the mono versions. It actually has a tape dropout in the first verse under the word I, as in I remember what I said tonight. Yeah, so there's a slight tape dropout, which I guess they've probably they've corrected now in the future. But back then, back in '86, yeah, you played the tape and it just a little tiny dropout, and also there's like an extra sort of tone, pedal tone. I don't know if you remember the song, but you know, it starts off with a sort of a wah-wah-y sort of sound, and there's an extra sort of pedal note under the first word of if. Now, this version was actually eventually released. I mean, it had been, once that tape had come out, it had been bootlegged all over the place. But EMI did actually release it, and the first time they released it was on this 1988 version of Past Masters, Volume 1. And it's listed there as track 17. Yes, it is. And it is, in fact, the true stereo version. They then also released it as part of, in Anthology 2, as part of the composite version of Yes, It Is, sort of like the outfake that they did for the track Yes, It Is. And part of this true stereo version is included in that. Let's get back to the release of the tape. There were apparently 250,000 copies of this made. Seems quite a large amount, considering it's only for the UK, or Great Britain rather, and you had to be a fan of Heineken, or at least buy 4 cans of Heineken to get a copy. Heineken, the company, they made posters and counter displays for advertising in off licenses or places where you could buy their cans of beer. Also, even the cans had like special sort of announcements on them across the top, like little banners. And the crates that those cans came in also contained a little thing about Beatles, only the Beatles cassette. Interestingly, 35 million cans of the special cans were actually made and sent out. So I wonder how many of those actually got used for purchasing this cassette. So as I said, it got put out on the 1st of July 1986. 17 days later, Apple took EMI and Heineken to court. Basically, they went to the High Court basically to put a stop on it. The Beatles had never advertised certainly anything in the UK. I guess they must have done in the States, but using their music anyway to advertise stuff. As I said, they won the court case and its distribution was stopped, but not before thousands and thousands of fans, such as myself, had already sent off for a copy and got one. Ringo, in fact, did say the Beatles were asked, could their music be used for Rolls-Royce, Pierre Cardin, and they land up on the side of a beer can. Interestingly, in 2007, apparently, a consignment, unknown numbers, unknown quantity, but a consignment of these cassettes, still brand new, still sealed, was discovered, and then they were allowed to go out into the Beatles market. Although, as I say, they are collectible. They're not too expensive. You can look on eBay, and they're still there. Probably ranging, I don't know, between £10 and £30. But surely, just for the story, just for the original issue of Yes, It Is, this has got to be, something that all collectors would really, really want. Well, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, I thought it was quite interesting, the fact that the only way we got the original stereo version of Yes, It Is was through this sort of withdrawn cassette. Who knows how long it languished in the vaults at EMI until it was discovered for this. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. As I say in previous videos, if you want to click up here, buy me a coffee, just throws a couple of pounds down the internet at me, just help keep the channel running. If you're not a subscriber, just click the little subscribe button there. It will mean that you get to see all of my future videos. I read every single comment that people do leave down below, and I do address the ones that I think need addressing, and if I don't address it on the remarks, I might even address it in a later video on here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.